should Koga learn the advance? That's basically what we're gonna be talking about in this video. Pretty spicy topic, and yes, I did do a poll a few days back just to gauge what the community thinks of this question. And not only will we be talking about the results of that poll, but some of the comments, and I'll wrap it up with my own opinion on the matter, as I actually have made a video analysis on whether Koga should learn the Nico style before, but I'll more so clarify when, of course, it comes time for me to give my own opinion. But for now, let's look at the results of the poll, because the results are, you could say, not as surprising. I kind of expected the results to be like this. I asked, should Koga learn or get the advance? Asked people to comment why as well, and over 400 people voted in this poll, and the results were, I would say, overwhelmingly no, with like 74% of people actually saying no, Koga should not get the advance, with 26% of people saying yeah, Koga, he should get the advance, right? Or he should learn it. Off the gate, I think a lot of people understand that this is kind of a minority position, right? But what's more interesting is actually some of the comments, which I'll read, of course, and show when it comes to giving their reasons as to why Koga should or should not learn the advance. Starting off with our first comment over here, saying Koga just needs to learn the basic fundamentals / katas of the Nico style and mold it to suit him, because the Nico style is extremely versatile to the point where several users can operate much differently despite being practitioners of course, the Nico style. This goes on to say Oma infused the Kure techniques and the advance. Kiryu uses the Koei style and Fallen Demon. Faye implemented the Divine Demon and some water cutter moves Oma had never seen before or never saw before. You pretty much get the point. The Nico style is about mastering the basics and making it your own. And then there's one reply to this comment, of course, that says Koga should master the Nico style, not just the basics. Koga wants to be the strongest, so it would make no sense if he just learned the basics. Interesting. So the next comment says he shouldn't be learning the Nico style in the first place. Also, Fallen Demon makes more sense for the guy with special eyes. Another comment says, I think that's overstepping for Koga. The next comment says, if Koga wants to pass the Nico style to Koga, he would have passed on the advance because Oma has made it a part of his Nico style. But to be honest, I don't care if he does. And there you really have it. There seems to be a pretty big debate when it comes to the comments about whether or not the advance is actually a part of the Nico style itself. And honestly, that's a very, I would say, interesting topic, but I'm gonna be completely honest here. I don't think it's necessary for a Nico style practitioner, mainly because of Oma's master, or who I refer to as Tokita, since there are no signs that he actually, used the advance at like any point, right? He just knew about the advance, it would seem. And unless, Gaio Mukaku actually has or knows the advance or uses the advance himself, it seems as though the advance kind of comes from somewhere else entirely. Or if not that, it is related to the Nico style in some way, but is not necessary for a Nico style practitioner. Because like most of the Nico style practitioners that we have seen that use the advance are usually connected to the last Nico, right? But luckily, we are going into, of course, the Nico or Gaio Mukaku flashback right now, so we'll get to see whether or not this is true later on. But moving on, right? I've already made a video on whether or not Koga should learn the Nico style, right? I've made an entire analysis on this fact, right? My opinion is pretty clear. I think it's consistent with the narrative, and not only is it consistent with the narrative, it's consistent with the character of Oma and Koga, right? It is what it is there. But I think the advance is a different story. Now, the main reason why I don't think Koga should learn the advance is because when we think of advance in the series of course, Kengan, it usually serves as this great amount of power power that brings a character closer to death. In fact, it's the main reason Oma even dies or gets close to death in the first place. It's because of the advance itself. And so we can kind of see the advance as this narrative tool to, of course, give the main character or the character power, but at the expense or the possible expense of their life. It is what it is there. And so I have a few agendas, of course, when it comes to Koga and how I think the whole story will unfold. I might do a theory on it later on. But I don't think Koga needs the advance to serve that narrative purpose, right? So when it comes to if we go into the final tournament and Koga is doomed to, of course, die as well or face the possibility of death, I think another reason can be just as effective. Like, for example, one of his ancestors, one of the Noroshima ancestors, was actually poisoned while he was fighting, and so he ended up dying from poison, of course. So we already have like an in-universe, reason or narrative device when it comes to, the bringing the main character closer to death. And so the question now is whether or not Koga needs the amp of the advance to amp his own power. Now, I don't think he does. I'm gonna be completely honest, because Koga already has a very big, biological weapon, right? And that is the fist eye. The fist eye, I think, is incredibly powerful and incredibly broken. You have both Kano and Lo Long kind of acknowledging that, yeah, the fist eye is a very big problem, right? If Koga learns to use that in the right way, I think he has an incredibly great weapon that he can use, right? Something that I think is way more effective. I just don't see the advance as that necessary part of course, the Nico style. I don't see it, serving the narrative purpose that it did for Oma, but as an amp as well, I don't necessarily see that as well. So I would lean along the sides of no. Now, am I against it is the bigger question, and I'm not too sure if I'm against it, if I'm gonna be completely honest. It would feel a bit odd for me, but actually on second thought, I have agendas. So this kind of hurts my agenda for a little bit. And so I would be like, nah, this isn't it. So yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I probably wouldn't like it if it did happen, if I'm gonna be honest. And yeah, that's really about it for the topics. This is gonna be a short video. The essay isn't coming out today. Of course, it's gonna come out at least Thursday or Friday. That's when I'm planning to take it out because, stuff happened and it got delayed. So yeah, until then, like, sub, and take it easy.